Hi, what's up everyone? My name is Hannah and today we're going to talk about the books that I fell in love with that really made me enjoy reading, made me love reading. I'm not gonna lie, I am anything but short of basic when it comes to reading these days. I just started getting into like romantasy, smut and all that. Like I really just started reading Akatar and I just went on a book binge and bought all like on my to be reads and stuff. But I would say Akatar is the only one I've gotten into recently that's like on that side of things. So I thought, let's go take a trip down memory lane and kind of see what I read when I was younger, like in high school and maybe a little before, a little after. And it's kind of adding up because I read a whole heck of a lot of fantasy back then. So let's do this. I have quite a few, so I'm going to try to just run through them. I'll give a synopsis if I can, and if not, then I'm just going to move along because I don't remember all of these. I just know I read them. So, starting off with my very favorite series of all time, The City of Bones, the Mortal Instruments series. Okay, Clary and Jace will always hold a very dear place in my heart. And yes, I said a very dear place in my heart, okay? This series has a chokehold on me forever and always. I'm absolutely obsessed. Do I think if I read it now that I read Akatar, it would give me the same feelings that it once did? Maybe not, but I still love it and I still adore it. And for, you know, the 5 to 10 times that I've reread it, it did what it needed to do for me, and I just absolutely love this series. Love this book. Love all of them, okay? Mine are like crazy. I would say that these two are my favorite ones, but obviously you have to read all of them. I know sadly I have not gotten into the rest of Cassandra Clare's series. Like that's the only one I touched by Cassandra Clare. So I don't know why, but I really, because I love this one so much, I think once I read all my other to be reads that I just bought, because I bought like so many, we'll do a book haul soon, then I think I may go and get a couple of these, okay? All right, next, let's jump into it. This, again, I told you I'm nothing sort of basic when it comes to my reading. I am so not a basic person. I'm such a basic person at the same time, especially when it comes to my reading though. So this obviously had a chokehold on everybody. The Divergent series. Obviously I was a Tris and 4 girly, loved it. Everybody did. In high school it was just exactly what I needed. Such a fun story. I liked the amount of action-packedness that they had going on in the Divergent series. I feel like there was a nice pace of yearning, and there could have been more romance in there for me, or like smut or whatever, but like it was still just enough to like really make me love them and want more. So such a great series. I never reread this one. I only read it one time, so I may reread it one day, but I still obviously adored it. Next we have, and I only have the one book, the rest of them are on my Kindle, but the Hunger Games series, obviously. I would say this one is really just, I only read this one once too. I didn't like reread the Hunger Games, so I don't know if there was a ton of romance in these. I really feel like it was mainly action-packed stuff, and then like I think they shared a couple kisses in the series if I'm correct. I don't think it really was anything beyond that. I also think I maybe read this in like junior high, so hopefully there's not anything more than that in there, but absolutely love this series and it was great for the time that I needed it at that time. All right, next. I have no idea what these books are about, but I remember that I read them like 5 times in, I think this was junior high for me. So we're gonna read the back of what these are because I'm really curious, because I remember I just absolutely loved these. I think it started with The Fire Within. Yeah, I think I read this in junior high or elementary because it's from the Scholastic thing when they would send those like paper booklet homes with the little kids at school, and you could buy those books from your teachers. My mom bought these for me. All right, so this is the synopsis of this book series I don't remember at all that I read so many times. When David moves in with Liz and her 11-year-old daughter Lucy, he discovers a collection of clay dragons that may or may not come to life. David's own special dragon inspires him to write a story, which reveals the secrets behind a mystery. Soon, David, in order to solve the mystery and save his dragon, must master the magic of the fire within, not only with his hands, but also with his heart. Aww. Yeah, okay. Doesn't really tell me much, but I just remember I loved this, and again, makes sense. I love fantasy stuff. Dragons and magic, hello! All kinds of shadow hunters and warlocks and werewolves and vampires and in the City of Dragons, or the City of Bones. Here, it's not fantasy as much. It's a fantasy because it's not reality and it's like whatever, but it's not fantasy because it's not like fairies and whatever, but it still is like an alternate kind of universe type thing. So still love it. It's like dystopian, so it's not like modern day reality, you know what I mean? So love that. Like, you're getting the gist. I like things that aren't modern and not like reality. I like things that have otherworldly components in it. So fire book series for a, you know, elementary reader. Next, we have, and I don't know at which one I stopped. I read most of it, but I didn't read all of them. I did read the Vampire Diaries series back in the day, like right when the show started. I was obsessed with these books. I only have 2. The rest of them are on my Kindle, but they were amazing. I love the books more. The books are different from the TV show, which I absolutely love the TV show too. I love fantasy when it comes to shows and movies and that kind of stuff, but the books for the Vampire Diaries was amazing. And last but not least, in book form, we have Percy Jackson. Love this series. Love this series. The Battle of the Labyrinth was great. The last Olympian was great, and The Sea of Monsters was great from what I remember. I have not read these books in like 10 or 15 years, but I do remember those 3 sticking out to me. These are also great for like a junior high person. Obviously, no, you know, really to my knowledge, romance was involved maybe in the last few books. I don't remember. I don't think it was anything crazy. This is like cool if you like fantasy and maybe a little yearning between young kids. I wouldn't find that interesting now just because I'm older, so I would find that maybe a little creepy, but I'm just saying if you are these people's age and you know, relate to the book or whatever, or the age demographic in the book, you would like this series. But if I read this book now, I think I would just be like, oh, that's kind of weird, I'm a little too old, but loved it at the time. Cool. Now we are going to go over my Kindle. So I actually have not charged this Kindle in a couple years. So we're going to see what I have on here that I also loved back in the day. Okay, so yeah, here's my Mockingjay and my Catching Fire from the Hunger Games series, and then the rest of the Vampire Diaries books. I did try a different book by Rick Riordan, but I didn't love it. I tried the Lost Hero franchise, and it wasn't for me. I only read the first 2 books and didn't finish it. There is another series, and it is called Choosing You, and I'll put the actual thing up on the screen, but it's called Choosing You, and it is by Ali Everhart. I believe she is maybe a non-signed author or an indie author. I'm not 100% sure, but I think she is. I like indie authors. I like supporting people that are not just mainstream, although I am basic and love my mainstream books. I also like to support people that are not. I think that's also important, and I don't think she is, or if she is, I don't think she's huge. But there is a 4-part book series. It used to be 8, now it's 4. They combined 2, 2, and 2, and 2. And so there is Choosing You, Knowing You, Promising You, and Forever You. And This book series I'm going to explain and kind of go into details with because I feel like it's different. A lot of these people know about the Hunger Games and, you know, the Mortal Instruments and Percy Jackson and the Vampire Diaries and Divergent and all that stuff. You know, those are known, but this one's not a known book, so I'm going to give it a synopsis. So it is like it's about this female who grew up and kind of had a really hard life in, you know, her younger years, and then somehow, I don't want to give it away, but she, you know, she goes off to college. I'm not going to tell y'all how, but she ends up out in a college away from her hometown, and she meets a boy. And this boy's family has to do with what you would kind of maybe think about there being some like special group in the world that kind of handles behind the scenes type things. Like there is an elite group who does all these really horrible bad things, and his family is involved in that, and he doesn't know to the extent of how much until later on. He knows that his family's involved in like something weird and shady, but doesn't really know exactly what. He just knows he like doesn't really want anything to do with it. And then he meets her, he falls in love with her, and she falls in love with him, and then it's this, you know, whole triangular thing of what we're gonna do and how are we gonna do it, and then family stuff and whatever, yada yada. But it's amazing. That series had me in a chokehold. I read it I don't know how many times. That one is definitely a little bit smuttier, and I don't feel bad reading that one because they are of age and, you know, they're in college and whatever. And I haven't read that one in a while, but I read it when I was in college, so I was the same age as them when I was reading those books, and I think it was exactly what I needed to read at that time. I did just reread it maybe like a year ago, and again, I am getting older, so I didn't like love it as much as I did back in the day, but I still enjoyed it. It's a good read. I've also read it like 6 times, so I'm not getting any new details as I read it, so it's not as fun anymore, but I still enjoyed it. But for a first-time reader, and if you're kind of near like the college age or just a little bit after, I think you very much would find that fun if you like hardships when it comes to romance. Now, there's nothing fantasy about that. That is modern day. This is more of like a love story type thing, but it's not just a love story. It has, you know, action-packed stuff and fights and like family drama and all these crazy things happen and so many twists and turns, and you don't see it coming. So still fun. It's not just a complete love story, you know. It's definitely like, can't put the book down, I have to know what the freak's going on with this elite family, you know. So definitely love it. You should give it a try. And yeah, other than that, this was so much fun, and I am currently reading Akatar. I am on A Court of Wings and Ruin, and I will do a book haul soon, and I'm gonna go over all the books that I bought from my to be read. So yeah, see you soon.